In the summer of 1969, a letter arrived at the San Francisco Chronicle. It was written in a code that no one could read. At the bottom of the letter, the writer made a promise. He said if the newspaper didn't print his coded message on the front page, he would go out on the weekend and kill a dozen people. The newspaper printed it. The police scrambled to crack the code. And the killer, he kept writing. He kept taunting. He kept killing. And then he simply vanished. His name was never discovered. His face was never confirmed. His motive was never fully understood. He called himself the Zodiac, and this is his story. It begins on the night of December 20th, 1968. A Friday night, a quiet road on the outskirts of Vallejo, California, about 30 miles northeast of San Francisco. Two teenagers are parked near Lake Herman Road. David Faraday, 17 years old. Betty Lou Jensen, 16 years old. It is their first date. At some point that night, a car pulls up beside them. A man gets out. He shoots David once in the head. Betty Lou runs. She is shot 5 times in the back. Both teenagers die. When police arrive, they find no witnesses, no motive, no suspect. The case goes cold. But 6 months later, it happens again. July 4th, 1969, Independence Day. A young couple is parked near Blue Rock Springs Park, just a few miles from the first attack. Darlene Farron, 22 years old. Michael Majot, 19 years old. A car pulls up beside them. Parks, sits there, then drives away. A man gets out carrying a flashlight and a gun. He opens fire. Darlene is hit multiple times. She dies on the way to the hospital. Michael is shot but survives. He will later describe the attacker. White male, heavy build, short brown hair, round face. Police now believe the same person is responsible for both attacks, but they still have no name, no fingerprints, no clear motive. Then, the letters begin. August 1st, 1969. 3 letters arrive simultaneously. One goes to the San Francisco Chronicle, one goes to the San Francisco Examiner, one goes to the Vallejo Times-Herald. Each letter contains the same message, a detailed account of both attacks. Details that only the killer could know. Each letter also contains 1/3 of a strange coded message. Symbols, invented alphabet, cipher text. The killer demands all 3 newspapers print his coded message on their front pages. Or he will kill again. He does not sign with a name. He signs with a symbol, a cross inside a circle, like a gun sight, like a zodiac wheel. A few weeks later, another letter arrives at the Chronicle. This time, he gives himself a name. This is the Zodiac speaking. Those 5 words will echo through American criminal history for decades. The FBI receives the coded message. Professional code breakers attempt to crack it. They fail. Then, a high school teacher named Donald Hardin and his wife Betty sit down at their kitchen table in Salinas, California. Using pattern analysis and logic, working entirely by hand, they crack the cipher in less than a week. The decoded message reads, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest, because man is the most dangerous animal of all." He goes on to say that those he kills will become his slaves in the afterlife. The message is chilling, but it also contains a key mistake. The killer promises to reveal his identity in the coded message. He does not. Even the cracked cipher tells police nothing about who he is. September 27th, 1969. Lake Berryessa, Napa County, a popular spot for picnics. Families, college students. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard, both college students, are relaxing on the shore. A man approaches them from the tree line. He is wearing a bizarre costume, a black hood over his head, a black bib on his chest, and on the bib, drawn in white, the Zodiac symbol. The cross inside the circle. He ties both of them with rope. Then he stabs them. Repeatedly. Brian survives with serious wounds. Cecilia dies 2 days later in the hospital. Before leaving, the killer walks to Brian's car door and writes something on it with a black marker. 3 dates, 3 attacks, including this one, and a note. By knife. Police arrive. They find the writing. They find Brian barely alive. He describes the attacker. White male, heavy build, around 5'10". The voice, calm, almost flat, no emotion. 3 weeks later, the Zodiac strikes again, this time in the city itself. October 11th, 1969. San Francisco. Paul Stein, a cab driver, picks up a fare in the Tenderloin district. The passenger asks to be taken to Washington and Cherry Streets in Presidio Heights, a quiet, wealthy neighborhood. The cab arrives. The passenger shoots Paul Stein once in the head. Then, and this is important, he tears off a piece of Paul Stein's shirt. He uses it to wipe down the cab, to remove fingerprints. 2 teenagers across the street witness the scene from a window. They call police. Officers arrive within minutes. They stop and briefly question a heavyset white man walking calmly through the neighborhood. But the police radio had broadcast an incorrect description. They were told to look for a black male. They let the white man go. That man, many investigators believe, was the Zodiac. He was right there, and they walked past him. After the Stein murder, the Zodiac sends another letter to the Chronicle. Inside the envelope, a piece of Paul Stein's blood-soaked shirt. Proof that he was there. Over the next several years, the Zodiac sends more than 20 letters to newspapers and police. Some contain ciphers, some are threats, some are mocking. He brags about his kill count, claiming 37 victims at one point. Police can only confirm 5 murders and 2 survivors that are definitively linked to him. But the letters suggest more. In one letter, he threatens to shoot out the tires of a school bus and kill the children inside. Parents across the Bay Area keep their children home from school. Police escort school buses. The city is in a state of absolute terror. In another letter, he promises to build a bomb and blow up a movie theater. He even sends instructions for the bomb. None of these attacks happen, but the fear is real. Over the decades, police develop hundreds of suspects. The most significant, and the one most people point to today, is a man named Arthur Lee Allen. Allen was a convicted sex offender living in Vallejo. He owned a Zodiac watch, the same brand whose symbol matches the killer's signature. He used the same kind of typewriter that produced the Zodiac letters. He had told a friend, before the murders began, that he wanted to hunt human beings for sport and that the hunters would be called the most dangerous game. That phrase appears almost word for word in the first decoded cipher. Multiple witnesses placed him near the crime scenes. A surviving victim, Michael Majot, was shown a photo lineup decades later. He pointed to Arthur Lee Allen without hesitation. "That's him," he said. But the physical evidence never fully held up. Handwriting analysis didn't match. DNA, recovered from stamps on the Zodiac's letters, didn't match Allen's profile. Arthur Lee Allen died in 1992. He was never charged, never convicted. The case remained open. Of all the coded messages the Zodiac sent, 4 were ciphers. The first was cracked by the Hardens in 1969. The other 3 resisted decryption for decades. Then, in December 2020, more than 51 years after the letters were first sent, a team of amateur codebreakers cracks the second cipher. David Orenchak, a software developer from Virginia, works with a mathematician and a cryptologist. They use modern computing and pattern analysis, and they break it. The decoded message reads, "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. I'm not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner because I now have enough slaves to work for me." Misspellings and all, it matches the Zodiac's writing style exactly. The FBI confirms the decryption is authentic, but the cipher reveals nothing about his identity. 2 of the 4 ciphers remain uncracked to this day. Whatever secrets they hold, if any, are still locked away. After 1974, the Zodiac went silent. No more letters, no more ciphers, no more taunting. He simply stopped. Did he die? Did he move? Did he stop killing? Or just stop being caught? Nobody knows. The San Francisco Police Department and the Vallejo Police Department still list the Zodiac Killer case as open and active. More than 2,500 suspects have been investigated over the years. None were ever charged. The Zodiac Killer remains one of the most studied, most feared, and most mysterious criminals in American history. He killed at least 5 people. He terrorized an entire city. He wrote coded letters that took half a century to decode. And he walked away, completely free. Somewhere in the files of the SFPD, there is a folder. Inside that folder, photographs, letters, ciphers, suspects, and at the top of the page, 3 words that have never changed. Case, unsolved, open. The Zodiac is still out there. Or at least, his story is. If this story stayed with you, subscribe. Because next week, we go deeper into the cases that history forgot.